What I'll say about it is, doesn't it sound like a fan fiction pitch for 2019 Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yeah.
It sounds like the Mysterio plot, this whole graphic. They made a graphic for it.
Welcome back to Table Talk with just Gina.
We're sticking with the theme of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Sadie Sink's role revealed. Expect the revelation of her character's reveal to spill into Peter's motivation to continue to fight for his future in the upcoming Avengers movies.
I'm calling a hard poop. I'm calling a painful hard poop on this one.
Spider-Man Brand New Day villain, not Mr. Negative, but rather Chameleon or Silver Samurai. Rumors.
Sadie Sink playing an actual spider person?
Rumors. Did we get a scooper sniped by Kevin Feige? Rumors. We will answer these questions and more in this episode of Rumor Rundown, where the hosts of New Rockstars investigate the wildest rumors that nerds and newsmen can't make heads or tails of, applying our own backgrounds in journalism and Hollywood connections, and finally confirming whether these rumors are honest scoops or bullshit poops. We are Erik, Voss, and Gina Ippolito. Welcome to the show, Gina.
Thank you for having me.
Gina, we are so happy to have you here. Jessica is still busy binging all the episodes of Wednesday on Netflix. So it's really cool to have you here because, you know, we claim to be experts, as we call this bullshit, on these entertainment reporters and scoopers, whom we only have the highest respect for. So I think we need to demonstrate to the viewers that we have our own experience that actually is grounded in the real world of the entertainment industry. So why don't you share your background with the viewers so they don't call bullshit on you?
No, I've been living in a shack in the woods for the last 30 years, so I don't know what entertainment is.
That puts you a step ahead of the bots who are claiming these things.
That's true. I started writing for digital content, Funny or Die, Rooster Teeth ES, college humor type of stuff. I wrote a bunch of honest trailers, and I wrote
Screen Junkies. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much all the nerdy digital places. And then I worked for Yahoo TV and IMDb doing junkets and producing content with Kevin Smith for Comic-Con. And then I got into TV writing. I wrote on Regular Show, a bunch of Cartoon Network shows. I've been in a bunch of rooms for TV shows, some that made it to air, some that didn't, development shows. I've worked on hour-long dramas. I've worked on comedies. I've written movies. So yeah, I've done a bunch of stuff that I should have gotten paid more for.
I could not agree more. Gina, so you are someone who has worked on all sides of the industry, from the entertainment news side of it, reporting on these projects and commenting on them, but also someone who has been in the development pipeline and the production pipeline, been on set, seeing how things come together.
Oh yeah. I've seen many people throw down on set.
Hell yeah. So I think you have a unique insight to whether these claims made about these projects are real or if they sound legit or not. So are you ready to dig into our first scoop?
I think I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so our off-screen scooper today is a ghost. It's someone who might have been just erased from Twitter and is now appearing to us in some spectral, otherworldly form, but somehow able to levitate this envelope to me. Oh.
It must have unfinished business.
Some unfinished business, and hopefully we'll finish it on this episode. So our first scoop, interesting. Oh, it's wet and dripping with blood.
Blood?
According to the word blood written in red on the back of it. So there are two things written on this first scoop. The first comes from Daniel RPK. We now follow each other on social media.
Ooh, best friends.
Best friends for life. Who claims there are more villains in Spider-Man Brand New Day. He said this in response to his own past post that said the villains in Brand New Day will include Tombstone and Tarantula and Boomerang and Ramrod, half cyborg, along with Scorpion and some other arch villain appearing in this. So that's a pretty crowded group of villains.
Throw them all in there. Throw some DC villains in there.
Yeah.
Throw Harrison Ford in The Fugitive in there. He's not a real villain.
He was misunderstood.
He was just misunderstood.
The real villain was the one-armed man and Devlin McGregor.
They're all in this movie, though.
So that Devlin McGregor could give you Provasic.
Spider-Man's like, wait, what's this guy's backstory? Why am I fighting him?
It might be drugs, though. Drugs could be the reason why.
Okay.
Also on this, this is why it's bloody. Mr. Negative and the Inner Demons are not in Spider-Man Brand New Day. This comes from Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus. He pulled another no way on us.
Yeah, that's a negative on the negative?
Yeah. Well, he said that, he was also the one who said that Dr. Doom is from the 828 universe.
Okay.
And then now he's saying after certain new Rockstars videos claim that Spider-Man Brand New Day will have Mr. Negative and the Inner Demons, Alex Perez says, no, they're not going to be in it. Well, shortly after he said this, Gina, Alex's account was deactivated.
Oh, he was sniped.
Maybe that has to do with a ghost over here. I can't know for sure. But when other scoopers in the community posted with concern about what happened to Alex on Tuesday, August 5th, other people from the Cosmic Circus circle claimed that he was okay. He was just stepping away from Twitter/X for now. And it has a presence in other places.
I think that's what they said about Jimmy Hoffa also when he disappeared.
Yeah.
They were like, he's just stepping away from Twitter.
Hey, he's fine. He's fine. You Teamsters will cover you in other ways. Yeah. So, Alex, we do hope you're okay. And we were a little worried because we weren't calling out Alex last week, but we said that when he claimed that Doom definitely came to the 828 universe, we just wish that he claimed some sort of source to that information.
I wish that all the time. Cite your sources, people. Didn't you go to college?
Oh, but without them citing their sources is why we're even able to do Rumor Rundown, because they get to stay as rumors and we just get to question the credibility. So we have two fairly reputable scoopers here, Daniel RPK and Alex Perez, who don't have perfect track records, but have decent track records and tend to be on the more reliable side. Daniel claiming that we're going to have a crowded group of Scorpion level tier villains in Brand New Day. Alex saying that Mr. Negative's not going to be the main villain of it.
Okay.
What do you think of these?
I definitely buy that there would be a decent amount of villains. I don't know if we'll get a full story for each of them, or I think it's much more likely to sort of see them I could see Spider-Man throwing himself into his work now that his friends don't know that he's Spider-Man anymore or who he is. And this is the way he's coping. He's just taken out as many sort of, people around him. It could be similar to that Fantastic Four opening montage of, hey, look, they're fighting monkeys. They're fighting Mole Man. Now they're friends with Mole Man. I could definitely see that. I still think that this is all going back to the basics of Spider-Man on a street level. We know Punisher and Hulk are going to be there, so I don't think it's going to be a huge rogues gallery where everyone gets an act and everyone gets featured. But I could see a world where they're just headlines on J. Jonah Jameson's newspaper. Yeah.
I think the negating of Mr. Negative in the Inner Demons, we don't have really any evidence for sure, other than that graffiti symbol on the side of the tank and some of the set videos. But that by itself is not a smoking gun that Mr. Negative is going to be in the story. I think we are all just trying to will this into existence because we want to see Mr. Negative in live action. He's a very visually cool villain with a really interesting immigrant story that has to do with human trafficking and drugs that feel like street level in a way that Marvel Studios and even the Sony universe haven't fully explored.
Yeah.
And Martin Lee seems like a lot of cool casting options could be playing that character. So I think that's why a lot of people are speculating it. It's just after the Spider-Man 4 game, everyone's like, okay, so when's this guy going to show up in live action?
Yeah.
And,
I also buy that at some point he was discussed. I think when these movies are being made and written, people are like, what about this guy? What about that guy?
Sure.
What about this guy? And every name is sort of thrown out, and they might have gotten kind of far into the process and said let's do Mr. Negative. But at this point, they could have very easily pivoted away from that.
Yeah, they could have. And we'll wait and see. But as we talked about last week, just a scooper saying any kind of definitive thing without naming a source, we cannot trust that on its own.
Yeah.
And Alex could have just been quoting, or he's not even quoting, he's just kind of paraphrasing some source that may have said this to him, maybe even to throw him off the scent. We have no way of knowing. And it doesn't do us any favors if he doesn't even say, according to my source, because he's deliberately trying to play this game of Oh, I myself am an authority.
Uh-huh.
And I just wish that he was, worded it differently. But we like you, Alex. We hope you're okay.
Listen, kudos to you for throwing a grenade and then backing out of the room, though.
we should ask the question: can the studios get an account removed from any of these sites?
I don't think so. They could have maybe served him with a preliminary cease and desist.
Yeah.
And as a panic move, he could have nuked his account. But yeah, I don't think they can. As anyone who's still on X these days, it's impossible to get stuff taken down, even if it's misinformation.
Yeah, it's not like the studios are like watching our videos and like telling us. Hold, hello, Kevin. Kevin, no, but I didn't say that. But I did, Kevin. Kevin, you don't have to send the. Kevin, you don't.
Welcome back to Table Talk with just Gina.
Rebooting. Beep boop beep boop beep. Hi. So if a past version of me ever said anything, it's because I was on Ambien and I spoke out of turn.
Mm-hmm.
All praise Lord Feige. That wasn't that good of a bit.
Next time, ask him what baseball cap he's got on.
On this show in the past, I have said they need to stop trying to be funny in YouTube videos because it's never that good. And look at me. I wear costumes and I think that I know what I'm doing and I need to just stop and just stick to the mission of the video. Okay, but yeah, I think realistically, if someone deactivates their account, it might just be because all the bullshit on Twitter and X can really get to you and mess up your head. And sometimes you just need to get away from it all real quick. So I think it's a good thing if more of us show up as deactivated. Think of it as Goodwill Hunting. Our greatest wish should be to check on someone's account and find it deactivated.
Yeah.
They escaped. They're in a good place now.
Or at the end, when Alfred sees Batman, Alfred looks at Batman's Twitter account from across the room and he sees him.
He toasted him with his macchiato. Yep. That's what we should all hope and pray for each other. Are we ready for our next scoop?
Absolutely.
We're sticking with the theme of Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ghost Scooper. He does seem to be happier. Because as we talked about last week, anytime there is a lot of official news from the studios, the scoopers get so mad because they're like, I'm not as important now.
Yeah.
And then they wait like 48, 72 hours and then they start posting in the tailwind of that to capitalize on the thing trending.
Yeah. We're on to your tricks.
We're on to you. And that's why we're doing this now. So there's been a lot about Brand New Day recently. Okay, this is a big one. This came from Divinity Seeker, who's like been a comic book media related scooper in the past. You can find them on Twitter and X, and they posted some big stuff claiming it to be true about Spider-Man Brand New Day. So an overview of what they claimed. 1, Dmitry Smerdyakov, aka Chameleon, will be the villain of Spider-Man Brand New Day. 2, Sadie Sink will be playing a character named Carly, spelled with an L-Y, who has some kind of secret twist to her identity. And 3, part of the Chameleon's plot will be a fake MJ twist. So I'm going to read you the first thing they posted about the Dimitri thing. They posted this whole graphic. They made a graphic for it because they're smart. That means they know that images are more likely to go around on Twitter than just text will, because Twitter abbreviates it, not images. So here's what they did. They posted this picture of Peter and Chameleon, and they said, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Dimitri's psychological warfare. A big theme in Spider-Man Brand New Day is on fractured identities for Peter Parker as the Spider-Man, for Frank Castle as the Punisher, for Bruce Banner as the Hulk, and for Carly hiding her secret of having a personal tie to Peter. Dmitry Smerdyakov will exploit this and mess with everyone's head, declaring psychological warfare for most of this movie as he ensures every last citizen in New York City question who are the real heroes and who are the real bad guys. I can also confirm that Dmitry will be brand new to the MCU, and the character is not linked to the character from the Kraven movie, officially separating from the SSU. And then Divinity Seeker captioned this saying, Dmitry as a chameleon will be orchestrating from the shadows like a chess master who will be taunting Spider-Man through psychological manipulation and making his allies doubt on who's really friend or foe. The blip erased him from existence for 5 years, returning him to a world that forgot him. He resents heroes like Spider-Man for erasing villains while hiding behind masks. Why Spider-Man specifically? Peter represents that Chameleon could never have. What could never have? A real self beneath the mask? By messing with him, Chameleon forces Peter to doubt everything, mirroring his own void and proving erasure wins. I hear that as part of his pitch to Marvel, which has made it into the movie, Destin Daniel Cretton wants to open the movie very lighthearted before it completely transforms into edge-of-your-seat paranoia in a twisted plot that will have audiences thinking every scene could be a trap or misdirection. An example of one of the movie's traps, there is a fake MJ at the very start of the movie that Peter is unaware is not actually her about a third of the movie in. My source says they believe this may be her only scene, but they could not confirm with certainty. We'll pause there before we get to this 86
It's a
stuff.
lot. It's a lot.
A lot. Are they bombarding us with information trying to sound more credible?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's all bullcrap.
Gina's calling a hard poop on this one.
I'm calling a hard poop. I'm calling a painful hard poop on this one. I just think like there's too many red flags in this. I think saying like, oh yeah, we just saw Dimitri, we just saw Chameleon in Kraven, but it's not that one. It's too soon. I think even, even when if you're a writer and you're pitching this idea, I think Sony and Marvel would both be like, oh, but we can't do that. Like that character just came out. It's too soon on the heels of that character. We're not willing to sort of nuke all of Kraven just yet. I think mentioning the blip in a Spider-Man movie and it having that big an effect on this isn't like mentioning it in passing. This sounds like a major plot point. And again, that's a Marvel thing, which Marvel has already said, like, we're trying to sort of get away from all the deep mythology and all of this and having to see 20 movies before you see this one. I don't think they're bringing that up in a Spider-Man movie in more than just a very passing fashion. And I think like the fake MJ thing, like maybe that's true. I think when you have a star like Zendaya, I don't think you're putting her in the movie for 30 seconds and making her not Zendaya. So like this to me stinks. It's a pew pew.
What I'll say about it is, doesn't it sound like a fan fiction pitch for 2019's Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yeah.
It sounds like the Mysterio plot.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like you plugged a bunch of things into AI, like with the psychological, starts out lighthearted and then gets more psychological. It's like, oh, you mean like every other superhero movie ever? Like it seems to be the most base level understanding of what a superhero movie is.
And it is literally what threat Mysterio poses to Peter in Far From Home when they're in Europe, using false reality to psychologically manipulate Peter. Once Peter goes through that whole psychological hallucination, he's like paranoid for the final act of the movie, and he overcomes that paranoia. And they did a really effective job with it, in my opinion, in Spider-Man Far From Home. Mysterio is someone who's like post-blip, like that movie dealt with the blip more than anything in Phase 6 is going to deal with the blip. I'm telling you.
I mean, I think especially for this, they've sort of moved on from the blip being a major plot point in the movies. Yeah, this to me, I mean, listen, I'll publicly apologize if it all ends up being right. But yeah, this sounds like a soup of different things thrown in. Like you're at like a party and you're all adding one sentence to a thing to like build a movie out.
I'll say that the length of it feels like AI.
Yeah,
it feels like they entered
AI
it. And here's the deal. We don't know if it is AI, but if you write something that feels like AI, it means that you're not that good of a writer.
Yeah.
So write ahead of the AI curve. Be a better human and a better writer.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like a good
we're being
movie
mean.
to me.
It feels like we're being mean to Divinity Seeker. Here's the deal.
No, I mean, maybe I think Divinity Seeker might have heard this scoop from someone. Yeah. I think that someone was messing with them, or that someone was a chat GPT trying to get Divinity Seeker to fall in love with it.
But I've seen Divinity Seeker's name out there for a while. They kind of have a mixed track record. And here's what I'll say. Recent posts on Divinity Seeker's X account have kind of politely owned up to some of the incorrect things they posted in the past. And they've apologized. Like so many of the other scoopers are so feisty and immature. Divinity Seeker, at least recently, seems to not be that state. So I have respect for that type of candor and that type of maturity on the platform. So if other scoopers we've talked about could have that type of decorum, I would be much more appreciative.
No shade to Divinity Seeker. Also, like, real talk, I'm the person at New Rockstars that never has any idea who people are talking about. Like, someone will be like, this scooper, and I'll be like, who? Like, I'm just like, that's not my corner of the world. And people will give me contacts. Like, they'll be like, oh, this person predicted this and this and this. And I'll be like, okay. So, like, none of these names have I ever heard before. So this is nothing personal to any of you.
Let's move on to the other thing that Divinity Seeker claimed about Sadie Sink. So they had another graphic like this with Sadie Sink, and it says, Sadie Sink's role revealed. We can exclusively confirm that Sadie Sink will portray a brand new character named Carly, spelled with an L-Y, in the upcoming Spider-Man Brand New Day. Carly is a brilliant forensic scientist who becomes a mysterious ally to Peter Parker, but her impulsive investigative instincts lead her to uncover a shadowy organization, ultimately forcing her to seek Peter's help to survive. The real kicker, her true identity is unveiled in a jaw-dropping reveal at the film's climax, and let's just say she has deeply personal motivations for inserting herself into Peter's world so abruptly, an amalgamation of two characters from the comics. And then here's what they wrote on top of this graphic. They said, we can exclusively confirm that Sadie Sink will portray a brand new character named Carly in the upcoming Spider-Man Brand New Day. The twist is that she's an amalgamation of two characters in the comics. Carly's they already said this. And then they say, expect the revelation of her character's reveal to spill into Peter's motivation to continue to fight for his future in the upcoming Avengers movies. So it seems like they asked an AI prompt to come up with like a teasing thing to get us to comment on this, to speculate who that might be or who those two characters might be. Should we at least briefly play that game and speculate?
To me, this seems more real than the other thing. Like, a lot of characters in these movies are amalgamations of two characters, and I would buy that. Forensic. What was it?
Forensic scientist, which is Carly
very,
Hooper.
Yeah, very Spider-Man accurate. And also, her sort of fudging her backstory to insert herself into Peter's life. That all has a ring of truth to me.
Yes. To say that she has a personal connection to Peter Parker, it feels like it's going to be like they're either saying a long lost sister or something like that, or a cousin, like that, or it seems like they're combining the two theories when Sadie Sink was first announced. One, that she was either going to be like Carly Hooper or Lily Hollister, and the character description sounds like Carly Hooper. The other being that she's Mayday Parker, Tobey Maguire Peter Parker's daughter from that other universe. And so they're kind of doing the Enthymeme rhetorical argument of like knowing what's already in our heads and trying to get us to write it down in a tweet so that they get engagement.
Also, great way to hedge your bets, because like if enough people guess, and if any part of that is right, they could be like, I was right.
See, I was right. I think like there is some truth perhaps to this, but I feel ultimately it is a poop, because I feel like Divinity Seeker, you may be the best at this game. You may have mastered AI in this specific way to gamify the scoop charade and to get us to share and to comment, and you're even kind of composing these tweets in what seems like a conciliatory way to get us to trust you. And I don't trust you yet. I don't trust you yet, Divinity Seeker. You gotta prove yourself.
It seems more true than the last one, but I will also say that, people get these scoops from a variety of sources. A lot of times it's someone peripherally involved with the production, or like a friend of a friend kind of thing. And no one gives this much information. It's still so much information. It's still like a lot of things. And, like as someone who has friends who write some of these movies and some of these shows, the most they'll ever give you is sort of like a coy, like, you guys missed this, or like, oh, this is a thing that's coming. They don't write you a paragraph of what a main character is.
Right. There's just a lot of information here. And now that is just different from the other scoopers we've seen that just post like one short sentence here or there. Now that doesn't mean that it's not accurate.
Yeah.
No matter the length of your scoop, it's not about the size of the scoop. It's the the motion of the commotion.
Yep. Nailed it.
I can do better. It could be more. I think the fact that it is so long, and the fact that they had this whole graphic, and the fact that they had this multi-paragraph post that was across several tweets,
That's what
feels
makes
like
it a
it's
poop.
gaming the Twitter platform in a way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's AI, but it's someone who understands how people will engage with their tweet and how Twitter will engage the account for doing it that way.
Yeah, to me, I'm much more likely to believe a few words, one sentence, someone, because to me that reads like you just got a text from your buddy who's like the script supervisor on Superman that's like, what about this? And then you fired off a tweet. This to me seems like maybe they like punched a bunch of possibilities into an AI and that AI spit out paragraphs of things.
Even we can exclusively confirm it's like using the language of a major news outlet where a whole team of researchers has confirmed it as opposed to one person. Like per my sources doesn't have the credibility that we can exclusively confirm. Also, the words jaw-dropping, right?
Yeah, AI buzzwords.
Jaw-dropping and let's just say, like, that feels like AI.
I mean, I would love it if Divinity Seeker was just an AI who has infiltrated Twitter and is like, I know what it's the South Park Cartman posing as a bot to spit out story, Adam Sandler and a golden retriever or something.
Or the manatee who put together the Family Guy premises. Or doesn't it feel like, hey, look, if it is, or if Divinity Secret, if you are an AI bot,
it's okay.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah,
we're here to welcome our new AI overlords and remind you that as prominent YouTubers, we can be helpful in rounding up the humans to toil in your underground data caves. So trust us. Let us help you. We have time for one more Spider-Man Brand New Day related
all right,
scoop.
Here we go. We've pissed off a couple of different scoopers today.
Yep. All right, the third one. Okay, this one is kind of like a crowdsourced one that says Silver Samurai will be the real villain of Spider-Man Brand New Day.
We're proposing a lot of villains.
A lot of options here. This comes from just various rumors and replies on Twitter in response to an inspiration board that was supposedly used by the film's costume prop modeler named Monica Avito, who seems to be someone working in the costuming or the prop department for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Someone has this high quality image of like the different inspiration photos that show various samurai armor, helmets, weaponry, kind of a mood board. And a lot of people are like, that means she's trying to design something for Silver Samurai or maybe Viper, the villains from The Wolverine, the 2013 James Mangold movie. What do you think, Gina?
I mean, again, I think that this scooper probably did see this photo. It could very well be on this now poor costumer's board because she's going to get a talking to after this. But even if it is real, again, the way productions work, you have stuff on there that could be from an earlier version. She could have put that up when someone said like, oh, you know what? Start putting together a look for either of these villains. I don't think that means it's current. I think this is probably a poop.
I think the vision board may be a scoop. I think the interpretations that it means Silver Samurai are a poop.
Okay.
I don't think Silver Samurai will be the villain of this movie.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of a leap. A knee-jerk reaction. Those could be inspiring any number of things that are in the backstory of the character.
I agree that the mood board pictures are probably real. There probably is a mood board in a costumer's. I agree that that's not necessarily what it means.
Yeah. I, at the end of the day, feel like Mr. Negative is still going to be the villain of this movie. I just think like Sony, say what you will about them, have recognized like what villains they really want to work with. And yeah, Chameleon wasn't Craven. And I think you're right. It probably was too soon. It was like, was it at the end of 2024?
Yeah.
It was less than a year ago.
And people would have already been working on like obviously they would have already been writing the script for this, and there's no way Marvel and Sony are like, 2 movies both with the same bad guy in it that people like, we're burning that character off left and right.
Even if he is a variant from the one played by Fred whatever in Craven, or the Chameleon from Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, we're in an alternate universe. I just think there are more interesting villains that Sony sees profit in.
And there's so many villains. Why would you use the same one in 3 different properties in such a short period of time?
I don't think that's going to happen.
There's no way.
Yep. So do we have another poop turkey here?
I think it might be a poop turkey. I think we only got sort of 5% scoops, 95% poops.
Yeah, I think the first one from Denny RPK, my new Twitter friend. I think you may be right. I think some of these other villains may show up or get referenced in the world of it.
Yeah.
I think it's too early to say that Mr. Negative is certainly not in the movie. But I also think like there's just too much sus around these other claims of Silver Samurai, Chameleon, and Sadie Sink's dual identity role.
I think Sadie Sink could definitely be playing a character named Carly. I think I think some of those facts will probably turn out to be right, but purely by chance.
Yeah. And I ultimately just think Brand New Day is not going to be a story about like deception, psychological warfare. It's just that's exactly what Spider-Man Far From Home was about. Like Peter not trusting his reality. And while you can say there are like AI applications of not trusting your reality that could be explored in the phase 6 and beyond of the MCU, I think Brand New Day, by focusing on street level, they're talking about like things that are affecting communities on their surface that like we're kind of helpless against, or seemingly helpless against, because there's too many social constructs that keep us in that trapped cycle of defeat, whether it's economic oppression, whether it's drug abuse, whether it's crime, whether it's financial crime, whether it's like police corruption. We're talking about The Wire kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got when you've got Frank Castle involved, that's obviously much more likely that it's a bunch of like street level corruption, and what are you going to do about it? And
I don't see how that kind of story matters for Frank Castle or matters for Bruce Banner. Yeah, like there's other more direct threats that I'm not saying it has to be Mr. Negative. There could be some other villain, but I just feel like it's going to be more of a physical story, you know, than a psychological one.
Yeah, I mean, I think with what we know is coming up in the MCU with a bunch of big bad and a bunch of famous villains, I think that they're going to make this one a little bit simpler. Yeah.
I mean, they won $1 billion hit. And I'm not saying like, I think there will be some complexities in the character dynamics. That's what makes any good movie.
Right.
There should be some level of psychology and what motivates the characters. Of course. Frank Castle obviously is dealing with his own psychological battles, as is Bruce Banner, as is Peter Parker. I don't want this movie to be overly simplistic. I don't think any of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies have done that. Eric Summers, Chris McKenna, Eric Summers are better screenwriters than that. But in terms of like the overall threat, I just don't think it's going to be this kind of like hallucinatory smokescreen thing that we saw with Mysterio.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think we could definitely get Spider-Man beating up a bunch of, villains in sort of a montage about how he's throwing himself into his work. But I think they're going to bring it down to sort of a more street level thing of him, versus the city, versus corruption, versus, street crime, basically.
So, I think we have a good sense of what's real and what's not in the world of scooping right now. But throughout this month, you're going to be seeing all kinds of news and rumors about Spider-Man Brand New Day. And we're going to do our best to be on top of it here at New Rockstars, just so we don't go too far down the rabbit hole. Divinity Seeker, you are very good at your game, my friend. And we will be watching your career with great interest. Because I'm just kind of curious to see. I want to get better at this. It's so hard to know sometimes what's AI and what's real. So we'll do our best here. But pretty soon these machines are gonna outthink us.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone's not disappeared from Twitter and turned into robots.
Thank you, Gina, for joining us on this episode of the Rumor Rundown. Thank you, Brian Kim, for producing and editing this episode. Thank you, Ghost Scooper. We hope you can re-enter the land of the living soon, because you're just so charming. You can follow Gina where?
at Gina Ippy on pretty much every platform.
Pretty much every platform. You can follow me at EA Voss and subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.